My dear friends, many people tell me, I want to speak English fluently, but I do not have enough time. The truth is, you do not need hours every day. You do not need to be perfect. What you need is just 15 minutes a day, done consistently and with focus. Many believe that the first step in learning English is to open your mouth and start speaking. But in reality, the first step is not speaking. The first step is listening. Listening is the foundation of language, the root from which confidence grows. Think about how a baby learns to speak. A baby does not begin with grammar books. A baby does not begin with writing essays. For the first 2 or 3 years of life, a baby listens. The baby hears the parents, the sounds of the home, the rhythm of the words, and slowly, those sounds become familiar. Only then does the baby attempt to speak. This is nature's method, and nature has already shown us the best way to learn. You must listen before you speak. But what does this mean for someone who is busy, someone who wants to improve their English in just 15 minutes a day? It means using your daily time wisely. We live in a world where everyone carries a phone, where information is free, where knowledge is no longer locked in libraries. If you take just 15 minutes to listen to English content every single day, your mind will begin to absorb it naturally. It does not have to be complicated. Listen to a short podcast, listen to a news report, listen to a small speech, or even a short clip of a movie. What matters is not the length of time. What matters is the daily habit of hearing English with attention. In the beginning, you may not understand everything. You may only understand one word in a sentence, but that is normal. You must remember that understanding grows like a seed. When you water it daily, it grows. One day you only understand one word, the next week you understand 3 words, and after a few months you understand entire sentences. The key is not to give up when you do not understand. In fact, not understanding is the best signal that your brain is learning something new. If you already understood everything, then there would be no growth. So when you feel confused, when you feel lost, do not see it as failure. See it as proof that your mind is expanding. Listening also improves pronunciation naturally. Many people worry that their accent is not good, that they cannot pronounce like a native speaker. But let me ask you, did you ever sit in a classroom to learn the pronunciation of your mother tongue? No. You listened. You listened to your parents, your friends, your neighbors, and your ears trained your tongue. This is exactly how you must approach English. If you listen long enough, your tongue will start to copy what your ears hear. That is why I always say don't fight with pronunciation. Don't force yourself to memorize sounds. Let your ears do the work first. Another important thing about listening is rhythm. Every language has its own music, its own rhythm, its own way of rising and falling. English is not only about words, it is about how those words connect. If you listen carefully, you will notice that people do not pronounce each word separately. They connect them. They shorten them. They stretch some and cut others. This rhythm cannot be learned from a grammar book. It can only be learned by listening. And when you listen every day, you begin to copy this rhythm without even trying. Slowly, your sentences will sound more natural, more confident, more alive. Do not think you must listen for hours to improve. Even a small piece of focused listening is powerful. Imagine you are waiting for a bus. Those 10 minutes of waiting can become your classroom. Imagine you are cooking. Turn on an English podcast in the background. Imagine you are walking. Put on your earphones and let English accompany you. These small actions repeated daily will build a wall of strength in your listening ability. And from that wall, your speaking confidence will rise. The most important thing is consistency. Listening for 2 hours once a month will not help you as much as listening for 10 minutes every single day. Why? Because language is not about memory, it is about habit. The brain learns through repetition. Just like exercise, one workout does not make you strong, but small daily workouts change your body. In the same way, listening daily changes your mind. Now, some people will ask, should I listen to slow English or fast English? Should I listen to native speakers or non-native speakers? My answer is simple. Listen to both. Slow English helps you understand clearly. Fast English helps you prepare for the real world. Native speakers show you the authentic rhythm. Non-native speakers show you the global variety of English. Remember, English is not owned by one country. English is a global language, and by listening to different voices, you prepare yourself for different situations in life. So take those 15 minutes and use them wisely. Put away the fear, put away the excuses, and give your ears the chance to grow strong. The journey begins not with speaking, not with reading, but with listening. When people think about improving their English, many imagine reading thick books, long novels, or complicated articles full of difficult vocabulary. The moment they imagine this, they feel fear, they feel pressure, and they immediately lose interest. But the truth is, you do not need to start big. You need to start small. Reading something short every day is more powerful than forcing yourself to read something long once in a while. The mind enjoys progress, and progress comes when you make learning easy, not when you make it heavy. Imagine this. You pick up a small news article just 5 or 6 sentences long. At first, you may not understand every single word, but you can still catch the meaning. The headline gives you direction. The context helps you guess the unknown words. And slowly, your brain begins to connect ideas. You finish that short article in just a few minutes, and you feel a small success. That small success builds confidence, and confidence is the fuel that keeps you moving forward. Now think about the opposite. You decide to read a long novel in English, maybe 300 pages. On the first day, you are motivated, but by the second or third day, you feel tired. You see many unknown words. You start to translate too much and you begin to lose patience. Finally, you close the book and never touch it again. This is how most people fail. Not because they cannot learn, but because they try to climb a mountain before learning how to walk. The secret is not to start with the mountain. The secret is to start with the small steps that take you there. Reading something short every day has another benefit. It allows you to meet new vocabulary in small doses. When you see a new word in a short text, you can focus on it. You can guess its meaning. You can even write it down in your notebook. Because the text is short, you are not overwhelmed with too many unknown words at once. Slowly, word by word, your vocabulary begins to expand. And when you meet the same word again tomorrow in another short article or post, it feels like meeting an old friend. The word is no longer strange, it is familiar. And now it belongs to you. Another advantage of short reading is that it matches your daily life. You may not have time to read 100 pages, but everyone has 5 minutes. While drinking tea, while waiting for a friend, while taking a break at work, you can read a short story, a blog post, or even a social media caption in English. These moments, when collected together, are enough to build your language. Learning does not have to take place in a classroom. Learning can happen in the small spaces of your day if you use them wisely. Also, remember, reading short texts does not mean reading boring texts. You can choose topics you actually enjoy. If you love technology, read a tech article. If you love travel, read a travel blog. If you love business, read a short piece about entrepreneurship. When the topic excites you, your brain will pay more attention. And attention is the key to memory. Do not force yourself to read what others say is important. Read what makes your mind curious. Curiosity is a stronger teacher than pressure. Do not worry about understanding every word. That is a trap many learners fall into. They open a dictionary for every new word, and after 5 minutes they are exhausted. Instead, train your brain to focus on meaning, not perfection. Even if you understand 70%, you already succeed. Over time, the unknown 30% will shrink. Think about how you read in your native language. Do you stop at every difficult word? No. You understand the meaning from the context and keep reading. That is the same approach you should take in English. Reading short pieces daily also helps you think in English. When you see sentences again and again, your brain starts to remember patterns. You notice how questions are formed, how tenses are used, how ideas are connected. Without memorizing grammar rules, you naturally begin to feel the structure of the language. This is the difference between learning from rules and learning from experience. Rules tell you how the language works, but experience shows you how the language lives. Reading gives you that experience in a natural way. Even more powerful is the habit that comes from short reading. When you complete a small task daily, you begin to build a chain of success. Every day you add one link to the chain, and soon that chain becomes strong. Habits are not built on size, they are built on consistency. If you keep the habit of reading something short daily, you are training your brain to expect progress. It is not about how much you read today. It is about showing up every single day without fail. That is how you grow steadily and surely. When people dream of speaking English fluently, they often wait for the perfect partner, the perfect situation, or the perfect environment. They say to themselves, I will practice when I find someone to talk to, or I will start speaking when I feel ready. But the truth is that perfect situation rarely comes. Waiting for it is like waiting for a bus that never arrives. If you want to grow, you cannot wait for someone else to give you permission. You must give yourself permission. And that begins by speaking out loud, even when you are alone. Speaking out loud may sound strange at first. You may feel awkward. You may feel silly. But this is one of the most powerful ways to train your tongue. Think about how athletes practice. They do not wait for a stadium full of people before they start training. They practice alone on the field. They repeat their movements again and again until it becomes natural. In the same way, your mouth, your tongue, your voice need training. They need repetition. They need practice in private before they perform in public. When you speak out loud, you give your brain a chance to connect thoughts with sounds. Reading quietly is not enough, because when you read silently, your tongue is sleeping, your eyes are working, your mind is working, but your voice is silent. But when you read out loud or repeat sentences, you hear your tongue wake up. It begins to move. It begins to stretch, and slowly it becomes comfortable with English sounds. This comfort is what builds confidence later when you meet people. Another powerful benefit of speaking out loud alone is that you can control the situation. There is no fear of judgment, no pressure of making mistakes, no one laughing at you. It is your safe space, your private practice room. You can repeat the same sentence 10 times. You can try different tones. You can experiment with pronunciation, and no one will stop you. This freedom is very important, because fear is the #1 enemy of language learning. By practicing alone, you remove fear from the equation, and you allow yourself to grow naturally. One practical way to do this is to take a short text or a paragraph in English and read it out loud every day. The first time it may feel difficult, but by the 5th or 6th time, your tongue begins to flow smoothly. Another way is to describe what you are doing. For example, while cooking, say I am cutting vegetables. I am boiling water. I am adding salt. While walking, say I am going to the store. I am looking at the road. I am feeling the wind. These small sentences may seem simple, but they build fluency because they connect your daily life with English words. When your brain learns to describe life in English, you are no longer translating from your native language. You are thinking in English. Recording your voice is another powerful tool. When you record yourself and listen, you hear your strengths and weaknesses. You may notice that some words are clear, while others are not. You may hear that your rhythm is slow or fast. This awareness allows you to improve. Professional speakers, singers, and actors all record themselves to refine their skills. If they can do it for performance, why can't you do it for learning? There is also the method of shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a sentence in English and immediately repeating it out loud, almost like an echo. This trains your ear and your tongue at the same time. You do not just learn the words, you also learn the speed, the tone, and the rhythm of natural English. At first it feels challenging, but after some practice, it becomes enjoyable, like singing along to a song. The most important thing to remember is that speaking out loud daily builds courage. Courage is not something you find suddenly one day. Courage is built through small daily actions that make you stronger without you realizing it. When you practice alone every day, One day you meet someone and speak without fear, and you surprise yourself. You realize that all those private conversations with yourself have prepared you for this moment. That is the magic of speaking out loud. Writing is often the forgotten skill when people talk about improving their English. Many focus only on speaking or listening, thinking that writing is not as important. But writing has a unique power. It slows down your thoughts. It gives you time to organize your ideas, and it creates a permanent record of your learning. Speaking disappears into the air, but writing stays. And when it stays, you can return to it. You can reflect on it, and you can see how far you have grown. That is why writing a few sentences daily is one of the most effective habits for building confidence in English. You do not need to write long essays or complicated reports. You only need to write 3 to 5 sentences every day. Imagine keeping a small notebook or using the Notes app on your phone. At the end of each day, take just 5 minutes to write something simple. It could be about what you did that day, something you learned, or even how you feel in that moment. The size does not matter. The power comes from the consistency. One day, 3 sentences, the next day, 3 more. In 1 week, you have written 20 sentences. In 1 month, you have written almost 100. Slowly, without pressure, you build a mountain of practice. Writing also helps you discover your weaknesses. When you speak, your mistakes often disappear quickly and you may not notice them. But when you write, the mistakes are right in front of you. You see the missing words, the wrong tense, the awkward sentence. At first, this may feel uncomfortable, but it is actually a gift. Each mistake you see is a chance to learn, a chance to improve. If you correct 1 mistake a day, in 1 year you correct hundreds. That is the silent power of writing. Another benefit of writing daily is that it makes your thinking clearer. Many learners know the words in their mind, but when they try to speak, the words get stuck.